But now, sir, we are recording. And if you want to take us back, John, go ahead and bring us into this segment.
Oh, you want me to bring you in the segment?
I'm running the board.
Lance, bring us in.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Colbert Radio. We are now broadcasting live from Charleston, South Carolina.
Hey. Oh, was that it? I was going to...
This guy could do baseball games.
He could. We're broadcasting live from Charleston, South Carolina. Fouls one down the right field line. Struck the ball girl, knocked her out.
Yeah, that's right.
And
our pitcher winds up and
we just
stops and takes his signal again.
All right. So
all right, political. Let's go.
Let's get political.
You're the man.
Let's get physical.
Let's get political.
This was supposed to be serious. I am contending that with these three guys in the room, it can't happen.
You're reading Mark Levine's Liberty and Tyranny.
I'm going to read it live on the air, cover to cover.
Oh, God. I hope you got your own computer. Hand me that pillow. I want you to know I did read Hank Coulter's book, Treason.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
And then what did
She's a bit of a bulldog, isn't she? Ann Coulter.
She would make the University of Georgia proud.
She's like an ice princess, man.
Yes.
Yeah, we are really pulling on this
Or
thing.
as Richard Belzer called her, a fascist party doll. No? That's because Richard Belzer's an idiot.
Yeah, he's pretty much a leftist.
No. He goes on Bill Maher's show all the time. I would have never pegged him for a leftist.
Yeah,
all right, am I coming through?
Another
okay
genius.
All I know is you only got so much time to get this segment in.
That's true. Let's do it. All right. So you guys have heard about the tragedy that occurred at Fort Hood.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I had to address this.
No,
I had something else written about
we need to address that.
Nancy Pelosi sneaking crap in on Saturday, but I have to talk about
all of us at CoverRadio.com send our prayers, not our thoughts, our prayers.
Absolutely.
Out to those poor people who were uselessly gunned down.
And 43 injured at this point. So, terrorism. According to About.com, the term terrorism means premeditated, politically motivated violence perpetrated against non-combatant targets by subnational groups or clandestine agents. This week, 13 Americans lost their lives at Fort Hood, Texas. They didn't lose their lives in combat on the shores of some foreign land with all the glory and pomp of the old World War II movies that rightfully surrounds the death of many who have laid it all down for this country. No, instead these 13 young men and women, nameless victims, were gunned down like animals while they lined up for vaccines and eye tests at a soldier readiness center, being prepared to go overseas and fight for us. They were getting ready to deploy for the fight for the war on terror. Oh, I'm sorry. The recent unpleasantness with man-made disasters.
I was about to say a man-made catastrophe, a man-made disaster.
PC here. But at the time, they were non-combatants. The gunman, Nadal Malik Hassan, wore their own stripes and worked as a psychiatrist in their own hospitals. But I guess he couldn't take all the pressure of helping his enemies. So, like the coward that he was, although Bill Maher will probably say he was brave for what he did, like the 9/11 terrorists were, he slaughtered these people. He said goodbyes to several neighbors, indicating that the attack was premeditated. He expressed a political disagreement with the U.S. policy in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he targeted the unarmed. Soldiers, yes, but not in battle. So this was indeed terrorism. And what
you notice he didn't go out to the firing range.
No, he didn't go out to anybody who was armed. This was terrorism. And that's why, and they haven't classified it as terrorism, and that's what really angers me about this whole thing. So what was our brave commander-in-chief doing? Well, he was giving a speech. It's what he does best. He was attending a tribal nations concert for America's 564 federally recognized Native American tribes, giving a greeting, a couple of jokes, and a shout-out to one person in the audience. Then he said this: I plan to make some broader remarks, but as some of you have heard, there has been a tragic shooting. Are you freaking kidding me? Let's rewind the clock about 8 years or so. George Bush, who, by the way, visited Fort Hood the next day, was widely criticized about waiting to respond to the news of the 9/11 tragedy while in a public school in Florida. Michael Moore publicly blasted Bush through a mouthful of bratwurst for the incident in his movie Fahrenheit 9/11. And Bush was called far worse than insensitive, which is certainly the most vitriolic of criticisms being leveled at our Messiah-in-Chief. He should have been more sensitive. No, what he should have done was stood up, acknowledged what had happened, and spoke on behalf of the nation who gave him the job, and told us how he truly felt. Maybe he didn't have all the facts, but he could have at least used his incredible election-winning teleprompter and the power of his words to acknowledge that this was, at best, cowardly, and at worst, terrorism, which we now know it is. He could have at least showed us how much he cared about the troops who defend freedom, including his. Although the sad part is, maybe that's exactly what he did.
Well, you obviously feel very strongly about this, but don't you think you're being a little quick to judge?
On Barack Obama?
Yeah.
No. No, you're the president of the United States. You don't think that came across his desk before the conference? And how?
I'm not so sure. Well, I mean, the information that the incident occurred may have come across his desk.
Right,
but all the details, probably not.
So it doesn't matter who does it.
We're still waiting on some of the details, aren't we?
Somebody goes into a soldier readiness center, guns down 13 people, and injures 30. Actually, wound up the total number of injuries was 43.
Right.
But at that point, we had 30 injuries on the news.
I can see.
That's cowardly at best, and it shouldn't be the third remark in your speech. The first thing you should say is to get out and express your sorrow for what has happened to the people.
He should have. I agree. He should have led with it, that sort of thing. But I'm not so sure he should have canceled.
No, I'm not even saying he should have canceled. But the national focus shifted, and President Obama's focus didn't.
Right.
And this leads me.
And George Bush was unjustly criticized in his instance.
Right.
And so maybe we should be a little bit more forgiving here of a man who's clearly not experienced enough to be president of the United States.
Don't say that, sir. He's more experienced than Governor Palin.
No, well, this is people who make that argument about Sarah Palin she wasn't ready for prime time. It's amazing how quickly they're willing to overlook Barack Obama's lack of experience because it really shows.
It's not that.
It's not an argument.
He's really afraid to make any decision.
He doesn't make decisions.
The whole time he
makes speeches.
We got 13 soldiers dead, 43 people injured at Fort Hood, at a U.S. military installation. He still hasn't made a decision on Afghanistan.
I'm not quite so ready to jump on this case over that, though.
You know what, though? Given, and I'm not a huge Barack Obama fan, but given the type of information he has to assimilate on a minute-by-minute basis,
right?
I don't know that it's necessarily fair. I don't think it was fair what they did to George Bush. I don't know that this is a fair assessment per se for him to sift that out of all the rest of the stuff he's dealing with.
I'm not saying that he even had to come out and say it was terrorism. I'm only saying that he should have come out first. America's troops were killed, and he kept the focus on him and what he was doing. And in my opinion, that is selfish. And this was a cowardly act regardless of what happened. So Barack Obama's fault is not in not calling this terrorism. It was in not calling this, at least acknowledging this as soon as he got any information on it. And he got it before the news got it. These things go up. I mean, things go to the White House.
That news is awfully fast.
Maybe before this is on a federal government institution.
Yeah, you got it before MSNBC.
Yeah, well, this is maybe not before Fox, but this is on a federal government institution, and I can guarantee you they started learning the chain of command as soon as they knew something was up, which was before the news knew something was up.
Well, I can understand your outrage at the hypocrisy of it.
Yeah,
but I'm just not quite ready to hammer Obama on this. There's plenty of other stuff to hammer him on.
No, I'm ready to hammer him on this, and like I said, he didn't have to qualify it as coward or terrorism. He just had to qualify it. Tell us how he feels. He didn't show any sort of sympathy. All he said was there's been a tragic shooting, and went into a few remarks about it that were at best sound bites. And if you remember,
the term tragic doesn't sound sympathetic to you.
Not sympathetic. No. Not
using not sympathetic enough.
Not sympathetic enough. Not when it's your troops, and not as the third statement in your remark. And when George Bush came out after 9/11 and spoke in front of the World Trade Center that day, do you remember what I think it was Peter Jennings said?
No.
Well, some presidents are just better at this than others.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, if you want to use the media,
I don't use
the media. The media is so corrupted and so in the tank.
Well, I'm saying I'm hesitant to use if politics. I really don't like using if it was George Bush.
If there's one group of people that are respected less than members of the United States Congress, it's members of the American press.
It really has become.
I think the interesting thing, though, thinking back though to Barack Obama, I have not seen him express any kind of really emotion. You mentioned the teleprompter thing on any subject, so I think that's an interesting thing to note too.
Yeah, we'll come back in a few minutes with our conclusion. This has been our political segment. Please feel free to disagree with us at will. Lord knows we disagree with each other enough.